All right, welcome to a bit of a different kind of explainer today. We're going to deconstruct a classic horror story, really get under the hood and see what makes it tick. We'll explore how folklore is used to build a narrative that's so chilling, it just stays with you.
So, our story kicks off on a night that's more than just cold. You know the kind I'm talking about. The fog is thick, the silence is so heavy you can almost feel it, and there's this sense that the night itself is holding its breath. This quote, it just nails that feeling of unease that's about to unfold.
Picture this. We're at a traditional village gathering spot, a chapal, where a few men are huddled around a crackling fire. And the conversation has already turned to spooky stuff. They're all talking about this unsettling, shadowy figure someone saw down by the river. So yeah, the fear is already in the air.
And right on cue, a figure emerges from that dense fog. It's Dharmpal Kaka, the village's resident storyteller. His arrival is exactly what the group has been waiting for. He settles in by the fire, and you can just feel everyone lean in a little closer.
Okay, this is a huge moment. Dharmpal immediately raises the stakes. He tells everyone, and us, that this isn't just some fairy tale. He's about to share a personal account, something he actually lived through in his youth. By saying this is a true story, it instantly becomes so much more real and way more terrifying.
So Dharmpal starts his story, and we're transported back in time. He's just 27 years old, he's heading home from a relative's house late at night, and a massive storm is starting to brew. And it's one of those weird storms, The rain is on and off, stopping for a moment, then just dumping down the next. The sky itself just feels angry.
I mean, this is the perfect setup for a horror story, isn't it? A totally deserted road, a raging storm, and just one single point of light from this tiny, isolated tea shop. There's nobody else around, just that heavy silence between claps of thunder. The sense of isolation is just total.
As he's sitting there in the shop, a figure suddenly appears right at his side. It's a frail, elderly woman. She looks at him with these pleading eyes and asks for a simple favor. Can you please walk with me? She says the road is dark and she's just too scared to go home by herself. Seems like an innocent request, right? The kind of thing any decent person would do.
And here's where we need a little bit of context, because this is crucial. The creature at the heart of this story is a chalava. Now, in Indian folklore, a chalava isn't just any ghost. It's a deceiver. It's a spirit that takes on a harmless form, like a sweet old woman, specifically to lure its victims into a trap. Her vulnerability? That's her weapon. So of course, Dharmpal agrees to help her, but here's the catch. The woman claims the main bridge is flooded, but, she says, she knows a shortcut, and it goes right through the dark, dense forest that's looming beside the road.
And there it is, the classic dilemma. You've got the familiar, safe road that might be blocked versus a dark, unknown path that promises to get you home quicker. He's desperate to get out of the storm, so Dharmpal makes the fateful choice. He takes the shortcut.
The second they step into that forest, the whole vibe changes. The darkness feels like it's literally swallowing them whole. Twisted branches look like figures lurking just out of sight. But the most unsettling thing of all happens as they walk. Dharmpal realizes he can't hear the old woman's footsteps. She's moving in complete, unnatural silence. All of a sudden, a woman's scream just rips through the forest. Dharmpal turns to the old woman and asks if anyone else lives out here. No, she replies. In this whole forest, it's just my house. And that's when this terrifying question pops into his head and ours. If they're really alone, then whose scream was that? All right, everything has been building to this exact moment. The isolation, that creepy silence, the scream from nowhere. The tension is cranked all the way up as we hit the story's climax, the big reveal. And the trigger is just an act of nature. A single violent flash of lightning tears across the sky, lighting up the entire forest for just a fraction of a second. But you know what? A fraction of a second is all it takes. Because in that flash of light, the image of that frail, helpless old woman just shatters. Dharmpal sees something else standing in front of him, something absolutely horrific. Her eyes are glowing red like a demon's. Her body is mangled and torn. The disguise is gone. And for one terrifying instant, he sees the Khalifa for what it truly is. He doesn't wait around for a second look. I mean, would you? He turns and runs, and that's what plunges us into the aftermath, his desperate escape, and the chilling truth that he's about to find out.
Darnpal is just running blindly, not even caring where he's going, just trying to get away from that thing. He's scrambling through mud and rain until, finally, he sees the lights of a nearby village and collapses, trying to tell them his story.
And the villagers, they listen, and they're horrified, but they're not surprised. They know the story. See, a few years ago, an old woman really did live in that forest, and during a storm just like this one, a huge tree fell on her house and crushed her. They say her restless spirit has been haunting that path ever since. That one night left a scar on him forever. The number of times Darnpal ever took a shortcut again in his entire life? Exactly 0. The terror was so real it literally changed his behavior forever.
And this became his personal lesson, his mantra. The desire to save just a little bit of time nearly cost him everything. The supernatural terror of the Shalava is tied directly to that very real-world mistake of choosing a risky, unknown path over a safe one.
And with that, Darnpal Kaka finishes his story. We're back at the chop hall. The men who were laughing and talking just a little while ago are now sitting in this stunned, terrified silence. That crackling fire doesn't seem to be doing much to warm the new chill that settled over all of them.
But wait, the story isn't quite over. After letting that silence just hang in the air for a moment, Darnpal looks at the young men around him and offers one final piece of advice, a warning that goes way beyond his story and right to us. In such places, he says, it is not easy to understand who is real and who is not. And that's the haunting takeaway, isn't it? In our moments of vulnerability, whether we're on a dark road or just going through life, the most dangerous threats often wear the most convincing disguises. And it leaves us with a really tough question. How can you ever be sure who to trust?